Hello, drama production students that are doing the HyperDoc slideshow that's titled It's All Greek to Me. I've gotten some questions about various things of how do I do this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and try to answer some of those questions. If I didn't answer those questions and you have more questions, that's what my office hours are for. So every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:30 p.m., use the Zoom link that is listed on the Google Classroom stream and come join me and ask the questions that you specifically need answered. All right, so this is my screen for Google Classroom. It doesn't matter what period. I have several periods doing the same thing. So when I open the slide, when I open the assignment, it tells you what you're supposed to do here. Make sure you're reading the directions, and it breaks it up into 4 weeks of which slides you're supposed to go through. Now you can work ahead, and if something comes up and you're working behind, that's fine. I would suggest you try to stay up weekly, but if you worked all day long the day before it's due and turned it in on time, that would be fine, but I don't suggest that. Anyway, when I open up the slides, or when you open up the slides, you'll notice that it titles it with your name. Of course, I'm Ecker, so it's going to put Ecker there, but it's going to put whatever your name is to name that. Okay, so I can kind of scroll through the slides this way on the left side, and I can see what number slides that Mrs. Ecker is talking about. And I know that I need to complete slide number 11. And I believe slides 16 and 17 were for that first week. Okay, so I can do it that way. It also, when you go on to the slides, it says go to present mode. So that's up in the top right-hand corner. You can go to present mode, and you can just go through your slides using the, what's it called? The little space bar, okay? And this is helpful because then when you click on the links, they actually work and take you to where you're supposed to go. Okay, so you'd click here to read about the myth of Dionysus. And then you would read all this stuff about the myth of Dionysus, okay? So I'm just gonna highlight, let's just talk about this one. Dionysus, he's the son of Zeus, the most powerful of all Greek gods and goddesses. And Semele is a mortal woman, okay? So this is the mother of Dionysus, and Zeus is the father. So kind of like Hercules, he's half god, half human. So his mother's Semele. So Zeus met Semele, and she got pregnant from Zeus, okay? Now, there's more to this myth. Obviously, you could break it up into the 6 parts that are here, or you could break it up into your own 6 parts. But when it's time to go to the slide that says, on the next page, illustrate the myth of Dionysus in 6 scenes. Now, illustrate means with pictures, okay? If you want to have a little bit of wording, that's fine too. So, if we were in class, I might have you draw 6 boxes on a piece of paper, and I might have you draw 6 pictures of the myth of Dionysus to explain it. All right, but since we're doing it on a computer, you can still draw pictures, or you can go find pictures on the internet. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a new tab here, and I'm going to say beautiful woman, okay? And I'm going to find a beautiful woman, and I say, okay, here's a beautiful woman. And I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to go back to my slideshow, and I'm going to paste. That's one way that I can do it, and then I just make it to be the size that I want it to be. Make that a little bit smaller there. Okay, now, this is, in my mind, Semele, okay? So I'm just going to add a little insert text box. I'm going to put a little text box right here, and I'm going to say that Zeus fell in love with Semele, and they created a baby. Okay, So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so it fits here. And I could do something like that, okay? And then I could have more pictures, and I could do all that kind of stuff there. I could also go to Google Draw. Is it Draw or Drawings? We'll find out, I guess. Maybe it's Google Drawings. Drawings.google.com. There we go. All right. So I can go on here. I could have used that same picture. And let's say I wanted to draw something else with it. Okay, I say, let's pretend this is Hera, and she's really jealous. And I want to insert, I want to continue drawing things. So I'm just going to add an arrow, and I could do something like this and draw an arrow. And I could say, insert text box. I could say, she is jealous, right? And then, I mean, or if you just wanted to draw somehow, maybe some of you guys draw really well, which I don't. I would be doing stick figures. But you could draw something on here or do a combination of you drawing and you using some images from the internet. And then you can save that, and then you can pull this picture in to your HyperDoc, okay? The last way you could do it is you could literally draw on a piece of paper, take a picture with your phone, and upload that to your Google Drive, and then insert that picture here. I only suggest that for people who draw well or you enjoy drawing. Sometimes looking for pictures can take a while, but I will say that even looking for pictures that have to do with, you know, if I typed in simile, you know, I wonder what would come up. Obviously, some of these portraits, so maybe I could have used simile from Greek mythology here, if that picture ever comes up better, and use that in one of my slides. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just breaking up the story or the myth of Dionysus into 6 slides. Think like a storyboard or a comic strip. All right, so now when I get to 16 and 17, it's the same thing, just 6 days worth of a diary. So you have attended the festival of Dionysus. So this diary belongs to who? Now you can say yourself, Amy Ecker, or I could pretend and make up a name, and I could say Mary, I can't even think of a name, Mary Shelley. She's actually a real person who wrote Frankenstein, but anyway, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So who is Mary Shelley? Is she a servant girl? Is she the wife of a very high-rated politician or something like that? Is she the wife of a farmer? But obviously she's a woman, and she's going to experience things differently by who this person is. If you're a man or a woman, if you're young or old, if you're rich or poor, that kind of thing. So how do I know that? I know that by going back to the slides through the Festival of Dionysus. I would click here, okay, and I would find out information about this festival. And it would tell me what happens at this festival. And it would say right here, as the first day progressed, there'd be men and boys representing the 10 political tribes of Athens held dithyrambic competitions, and the day concluded with the sacrifice of a bull and a communal feast. Okay, so there's a procession of the Theater of Dionysus bearing a wooden statue of the god. So when it's time for me to write what happens on day 1, I write it from my perspective, and I have to pretend a little bit. I might say something. I am so excited to be here when the festival began. They came in with a big wooden statue, followed by a parade of men and boys. It was really beautiful hearing them sing. At night, we had a big feast or barbecue. I call barbecue. Okay, blah, 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 right? So that's what I want to do. I want to write what would be happening on each day. Okay, so I'm going to delete this now just so you don't end up having it on yours. But I'm going to do that for each day, and that's all I'm doing. Okay, so that was what you were supposed to complete for the first week. Now, as we move on to the second week now, we're going to go through the next set of slides. Which slides? Let's see, slides 18 through 28. Okay, so I'll make sure I'm starting here on 18, and I'm going to go all the way here to 28, which says the plays and playwrights. Okay, so I go back through, and it might be helpful again to put it onto presentation mode. Go through the slides. Click here to learn more about the structure of the Greek theater. Okay, so I click there, and it's going to take me through a video. Okay, and through the video, it's going to show me, again, a picture of this, another picture from kind of different angles of what theaters look like back then. Okay, and that they were very large and open air, and they were on the hillside. Okay, eventually it's going to get to a part where it starts telling me what some of these things are. Okay, so the audience sat right here in the theatron. I'm just going to pause it right there. Okay, but I would want to watch all of this. It's a 4-minute video. But I'm going to close it right now because I'm just showing you. And then it says, look, here are these 7 parts of the theater. And then it asks you a question on the 8th one. Sorry, let me move this. Okay. So then I go to this part right here, and I want to label, because what did it say? It says identify and write in these areas of a typical Greek theater on the next page. So here's the next page. Now, I might have to get out of presentation mode to go and do that. But this is where I'm going to insert a text box, and I'm going to say, you know what? Over here is where the theatron was. This is where the audience sits. Now, I can make this bigger and say I want this to be in size 20 font. I could change the lettering so it stands out a little bit more and put it in red maybe. Or I could even, let's see, highlight it in white so maybe it stands out a little bit better. And I say there's the theatron. Someone else could say, you know what, I want to put some arrows in because I want Mrs. Ecker to know it's not just on this side, but it might also be on this side as well where the theatron is. And so she knows, hey, all of this right here is the theatron. Okay? And then I would go through, where's the skene? Where's the orchestra? Where's the parodi? And I'm going to put all those places here and label them. And I should have 8 labels on this page. So that's this week's assignment. Then it's going to go into what are the 3 different types of drama? And you'll know that by clicking on the mask here, and you'll read about that. And then it'll talk about famous Greek playwrights. And you will, of course, click Sophocles, who's this guy right here, and he's going to tell you all you need to know about that. Then when you get to 26 and 28, those are the 2 slides you need to do. So it tells you here, this is about the 3 types of Greek plays. What were the themes? And you're going to go ahead and just type in these various boxes whatever it is of how you'd answer it. Okay, so that's for the first one. What's the first one? I believe it was tragedy. Okay, and then the next one, you're going to give information, third one. Okay, and you're going to find all that, again, on the links that it takes you to on the previous slides, and you need to read them. That's where you're going to get the information from. All right. And then the next part says you've been asked to introduce each playwright in the Festival of Dionysus this year. On the next page, write a short bio for each of the three main playwrights that you could read before each one of them presents their plays for the contest. Make their biographies interesting and factual. So you can't just make things up. You have to take what you know. What do you know? You know by going back over here, clicking on Sophocles' face, and it's going to give you information about these different people. So what am I going to say to introduce Aeschylus? What am I going to say to introduce Sophocles? Who is he? You know, just like when you are watching maybe the Grammy Awards and somebody comes out to introduce, and they tell you a little bit about them, or they're winning a special award. They tell you who this person is and some important things that they've done so that the audience can go, oh, okay, and feel like they know them a little bit. So that's what you're doing. So this week's work, you're going to be filling out up to slide 28, which is about these three playwrights, about the three different kinds of plays, and of course, you're going to be labeling the theater. And I need to delete this now so it doesn't confuse other people. Okay, so that is week 1 and week 2. I will do another Screencastify next week for weeks 3 and 4 to hopefully answer any questions. If you have further questions, please see me at my office hours tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Use the Zoom link, or on Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Again, use the Zoom link. All right, thanks guys. Bye.